paint, cooked. Bed cover, cooked. A perfectly good mirror, cooked. Cooper Cobra, that's decent. The brand new engine that we just installed that was a built motor that should have lasted us forever, gave us no problems and let us give it all the beans that we wanted to, cooked. So if I learned one thing at Rocky Mountain Raceweek, actually I learned like a lot of things at Rocky Mountain Raceweek, and they're going to be on my Rocky Mountain Raceweek 2.0 playlist where you can watch every day of the race that we were able to make it to, as well as a couple of these afterthoughts and things videos that I've learned. But for today, I know that all of you want to check out and see exactly what went wrong with our engine, what went wrong with the brand new unit that we were supposed to put in there that was supposed to be the spicy bullet for a long time. So, you know, let's check it out. So I come home and we had one of two options. One is just let this joker sit here, back up, regroup, take some time off. You know, it took a lot of time, money, effort, work, dedication, lots of no sleep, lots of strings being pulled to make it to race week. And I don't think anybody's going to blame us if we would have taken some time off. I mean, you guys just, you know, you got behind me, you supported me, you told me that it was going to be fine, and yada, yada, yada. You know, appreciate that more than you guys know. And it's because of that that we decided to take the second option. There is no stopping over here. There is no giving up. There is no sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. It's not a big deal. Like, whatever it is, it's fine. It's just an engine. There are bigger problems in this world to worry about. And as bad as it sucked, as bad as it hurt, as bad as we wanted to do more, as badly as we wanted to assert ourselves in the competition, sitting around and just sulking about it wasn't going to make anything better. It wasn't going to continue this momentum. So here we are, home less than 24 hours, and we have already got the built motor, the LC9 that we stuffed in there. We've already got it out, and we are already started diagnosing what exactly went wrong with it. And if there's one thing that I'm like kind of super butthurt about this whole ordeal, is that I had set the GoPro up last night while we started pulling this thing and got some recording, got some clips, got some things taken care of. It was going to be some freaking neat stuff as we started pulling this thing out and we started diagnosing things to make sure that it was actually an engine failure and not something like a cracked flex plate or whatever else just kind of throwing us off, which, I mean, we knew better. We knew that it wasn't those things, but we're always a little bit hopeful. We always hope that it's something more simple than it is. And no, it was not that simple. Long story short, those GoPro clips did not survive. For whatever reason, the GoPro said, "No, man, you've been kicking my tail for over a week. I think that I think I'm just gonna call it quits. I'm gonna be over there with your oil pressure. Wherever your oil pressure went, that's where I'm gonna be." So we ended up with those GoPro clips to include into this video, but that's all right. You didn't really miss anything. You know, it was just a time lapse of us pulling the motor out, a couple little funny clips of Austin and I goofing around. But anyway, we've got the motor out. We've got it taken apart, at least a little bit. I haven't dove too deep in it because I did want to make sure that I had this part of the stuff filmed and documented and taken care of so that you guys can see it. And so that way, you know, we can, I guess we get started getting it fixed. So like first things first, this is the old windage tray. We had just reused it with from the other motor, and we pulled it off, and man, there is some trash on this. I did have a little short little Snapchat film that I'll add in there, and it looks pretty much about like this. As soon as we pulled the pan off and we saw things looking like this, we knew it was no bueno. There's all kinds of trash down in there. It's a shame, you know? It's a darn shame. So we're cruising right along, checking out everything. Everything looks fine, everything looks fine. And then we'd come across this guy. I know that the old Ricer blued up exhaust tips and, you know, titanium welding is pretty neat stuff, the bluing, but when you find it on your crank, that's not really what you're looking for, you know? So we knew that right here on this cylinder and this rod and piston combo that we had a problem right there. So this was our first indicator that this thing, it got hot. Pulled the other rod cap that's beside it and checked out these bearings, and you know, that's not so good either. That's some pretty beat upness right there. But you know, this one came out first. This rod cap was not blue. This is the one that was beside it. It's over here, so you can see all the wear on this side and still all the wear here, but not as much wear as there is here. This is all the wear. This is like most of all the wear. But see, this one not so blue. It's the proper color, although the bearings did get their teeth kicked in, it looks like. Moving right along here, and I realized that when I pulled this one off, there was no bearing even stuck in it. And that's because these two bearings were trying to occupy the same space. Look at these things. This thing is pissed. Man, this thing right here is like, you know, it's that mom that, you know, with her soft-spoken husband, and his steak didn't come out right, and she's telling the waitress about it. That's what this bearing is. This is, whew, yeesh. This is no good. That's pretty stinking beat right there. But that's you know, those two bearings right there, probably why this thing sounded like it was a little miniature Led Zeppelin concert going on here. So we started to tear this thing all the way down last night. We started to pull the main caps off. We started to do this, we started to do that, and I said, you know what? Hey, it's we have seen enough just by pulling those two rod caps out that there is enough damage that this thing has to go to the machine shop anyway. It has to go to an actual engine builder either way. So, you know, I think just pulling the other stuff off, yeah, okay, sure, we're going to find something. I know it, but it doesn't matter because it's got to get fixed and it's got to be done professionally. This is not something that, you know, Austin and I have enough experience or equipment or time and tools to kind of really handle. So I think from here, we're just going to get it torn down to the short block, get my heads off of it, get the studs out, yada, 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 and get this thing prepped and back over to the machine shop so that way they can diagnose what may or may not have caused the rod bearing failure. Because right now we really don't have any guesses as to why it had a rod bearing failure. You know, it seemed like it was getting adequate oiling. The pressures were in check. They weren't exactly what we wanted down track, but according to the people that know, it was fine. It should have been adequate pressures to do what it was that we were doing with it. I mean, there's a possibility that's just kind of one of those fluke things that happen, but I don't know. It's hard to hypothesize at this point. Really, our only guess and the only thing that we might end up checking before we send this thing back is whether the oil pan to pickup tube clearance was in proper spec. So this is actually something that I had picked up from one of Mitchell's videos where he was at LME getting his stuff done. Is the guy there was talking about the oil pan to pickup tube clearance, and if they're too close together, if the pickup tube down here, the bottom of it, is too close to the bottom of the pan, well, it can't suck any oil out. It's like sucking through a coffee straw. So even if your pressures are fine or at idle and stuff, if you get in a high RPM and the volume isn't there, regardless of what the pressure's doing, you're going to be starving these babies of oil, which could easily cause a bearing to spin. That's one consideration. And the reason that that's a consideration is because this engine has ARP main studs, in which these main stud caps, the main stud nuts, they're higher. They're a little bit thicker than the standard stuff. So that would put the pan closer, that would put the pickup tube closer to the bottom of the pan. Now, everything that I've read, everything that I've seen, a few people I've talked to, they're like, oh, dude, don't worry about it. We run studs and all the bottom end of stuff. And as long as it gets properly main honed and stuff, it's almost never even an issue. We've never checked pickup tube depth problems before, especially on a truck pan. It's just not a problem. So I don't know. Maybe that's not our issue. Maybe it is. It's definitely going to be worth checking into whenever we get this thing like back and reassembled and stuff. But for now, it's time to get this thing packaged up and ready to take down to the machine shop. Got to shoot them a message, give them a call on Monday to make sure that we can get in relatively quick. And hopefully we can, because listen, you know, we had a motor die. These things happen. Racing happens, but you know, we got racing to do. There's no quitting us. There's no quitting this. We're done feeling sorry for ourselves. It's time to get this back together and let's go fucking racing, man. Let's go racing. And so speaking of racing, the next big race that we have on the schedule is going to be October 2nd at Emerald Coast Dragway. So any of you local guys that want to come out and see us race and do whatever, we are going to be running Austin's car in the Factory Street class at Emerald Coast Dragway October 2nd for the SoCo 275 class, ran by Brian Tunick, one of our good buddies. It is one of our favorite events, one of our favorite classes. Brian and his team do a fantastic job of getting cars down the track. The class is really getting nailed down. We've got, a good group of people that come out and race for that. We have a really good time, and so come out and do that with us. We're gonna be there with Austin's car, with his Camaro. I think this cool air we got coming is gonna wake that blower up. He laid down some good times the last time we were out with it, and I'm excited for some of this good DA, what it's gonna do for that thing. Now, obviously, it would take a bit of a miracle in order to get Clifford back together and ready for that. It's I just don't foresee them, the machine shop, getting an engine back to us in less than a week, and in time for us to put it back in, and in time for us to make sure it's good to go before we just send it down the racetrack again. I don't know. That's going to be tough, but it's a long shot, and we've done crazier before. So don't count us out. So that's what the agenda's looking like. It is looking like October 2nd, getting Austin's car out on the track, ready to do the SoCo 275 Factory Street class. Up more on the YouTube channel is going to be me doing everything that I've learned at Rocky Mountain Raceweek, both on the track, on the route, and just overall things in general on the truck that Rocky Mountain Raceweek exposed to me that I'm going to want to get changed and fixed. Number 3 is going to be some of the hidden hurdles behind Rocky Mountain Raceweek, some stuff that didn't make it onto the channel throughout the week because we were just so rushed and so busy, and there were so many big hurdles to overcome. But Clifford made the trip fantastic. We didn't really have any issues with the configuration of the truck itself, pretty much overall, until obviously the engine failed. But there are some things that we could have made better. There are some things that we are going to make better because of these little hurdles that we had to overcome during the week. So look out for that on the playlists. And speaking of playlists, almost every video on the channel, almost all of them are divided into playlists. We have races specifically. Clifford goes to the racetrack. We have all of those in one playlist. We have stuff that we're doing in the shop. We have all of those in a playlist. We have more digging stuff coming. That's all on a playlist. So if you want to see more of a specific topic, a specific genre, a specific avenue of this channel, go check out the playlist. Turn them on autoplay. Watch them start to front. You can learn a ton of stuff there, including on our, if you're new here, watch these videos, because that's where all the facts about Clifford are. That's where all the facts that you need to know to get caught up with, that's where they're located at. If you can't find it in one of those videos, drop your question in a comment, and hey, it might be another video one day. But long story short, you guys, you knew that we couldn't stand it. You knew that it wasn't, it was going to be no time, and we were going to be back after it. It really sucks because I had the carport super nice, super clean, super organized, ready for Clifford to come back home and be washed and parked, and obviously that's not the case. We got the old L33 sitting there, we've got oil pans here, we've got motors open there, we've got a gigantic mess. Hey, so we got the motor out, but the work's just getting done. I got a ton of yard work to do because, as you guys know, it was a pretty busy last 2 weeks that we had, between the motor dying, replacing it with the new one that it did die, and then being gone for a week. It's my honey-do list has gotten pretty long. So with all that being said, I'm Digging Z71. Thanks for watching. Keep digging. We'll see you next time.